Most Haunted is by far one of the most popular and cult classic paranormal shows to ever grace any form of media. Whether it be social media like YouTube, TikTok, all the rest of it, or TV, it was one of the trailblazers for paranormal activity. Alongside the likes of ghost hunters at the time, it really kickstarted the paranormal niche over on television, and it is one of the OGs, not just in the United Kingdom, but branching over into other parts of the world as well. Now, regardless of what you think about Most Haunted, whether you think that it's overreacted, over-dramatized, or completely real or completely fake, the video that we've got today really highlights some crazy things and a dark secret that I must state from the get-go is absolutely not to the fault of Carl Beattie, the producer of Most Haunted, or Yvette Fielding, the lead host of the show, or any of the production team, or even Most Haunted itself. It is just something that has happened that they were none the wiser about, right? And that is with regards to one of their psychic mediums. Now, I must state that I didn't even know about this until a fellow YouTuber by the name of Beardo made a video about it with regards to what had gone on, and I was just completely dumbfounded by the claims that were being made and by the things that, not even claims, they were facts, because there's articles about it and all sorts. But I wanted to delve a little bit deeper as to, see what the response was kind of off the back of it, right? But it's not to do with one of the more famous psychics, which is, the late Derek Acorah. He's had his own controversies, to be sure, but it's nothing to do with him. It's actually more to do with another psychic medium by the name of Martin Smith. Now, Martin Smith was part of one episode of Ghost Adventures. Not Ghost Adventures, sorry, Most Haunted, that is an insult to Most Haunted. He was himself as a local medium, right? And, he was only ever in one episode at the Brougham Hall episode of Most Haunted. And that was it. He only ever appeared once. And that was back in 2007, right? So, very long time ago, back in the 2000s. Now, to cut a very, very long story short, right, his, part within the show was fleeting, to say the very least. It wasn't long-winded. He didn't appear in multiple episodes. It was a one-off thing that aired in January of 2007, and he was part of the show's 9th series. And the episode was directed by Carl Beattie and featured the team investigating Brougham Hall, a historical country house near Penrith, Cumbria. Reports from the location included phenomena like a sound of ghostly soldiers marching, a battle heard outside, and the presence of spirits of the former owners and servants within the hall. Now, within the episode, the role that Smith took was tasked with joining presenter Yvette Fielding to explore paranormal occurrences at the hall, and he was specifically asked to walk around the ruins to detect any spiritual energies or presences. In a promotional interview with the Carlisle News and Star for the episode, Smith described feeling a quote-unquote forceful energy throughout the hall, likening it to getting hit with a pile of bricks and sensing a quote young man or boy trapped. And this suggests he presented himself as a highly intuitive, claiming to perceive specific supernatural impressions during the investigation. Now, that's not the controversy itself, right? That's just part of his role within the show. The controversy spun because almost 3 years later, after the episode aired, which is exactly why there is absolutely no way that Most Haunted could have absolutely known about his past, this man went on the run, and he was the UK's most wanted man. He was wanted by the police for some absolutely heinous crimes, and he was known basically for, a lot of scandalous things. So this comes from the BBC News, and he and his former partner Leanne, who were living in Carlisle, left the UK for Spain after being accused of child abuse. And the couple, who had been together for 18 years, never married, although they were engaged and shared the surname. Now, they had a young daughter by the name of Rebecca, and whilst in Spain, they had another child called Daniel. And unfortunately, after the international manhunt, the Spanish police finally caught Smith in Barcelona, and he was then extradited back to the UK in the spring of 2010. But within 5 days of his return, this story evolved from something that is absolutely disgusting to something absolutely abhorrent when, unfortunately, Rebecca, who was 5 at the time, and Daniel, who were 11 months old, were unfortunately found deceased in a hotel in Lloret de Mar, Costa Brava. And Miss Smith, who was 43 at the time, was in custody pending trial over the deaths, and post-mortem tests are believed to have revealed that the children were asphyxiated. Absolutely disgusting, absolutely abhorrent, and absolutely vile individuals. So Martin extradited back to the UK because he was being accused of child abuse, and then his, partner, not wife, was then put on trial for the murder of their 2 children who were found asphyxiated in a hotel room. Absolutely disgusting, absolutely vile individuals. And she told the court during her partner's trial that she had left the UK because she was worried about the authorities taking their daughter from her. Cumbria County Council confirmed that Miss Smith was worked in children's department and was responsible for out-of-school activities, but did not directly work with any children at the time. And, you know, it was absolutely disgusting, of course. Now, only a few days later, the Martin Smith, who was extradited back to the UK, was actually sentenced for 16 years in prison for being a PDF file. Absolutely disgusting, and he was prosecuted at Liverpool Crown Court. He was found guilty in the December of 2010, for committing rape, attempted rape, indecency with a child, and indecent assault between May of 1995 and May of 2004. So, of course, with the timeline of Most Haunted, right, these things took place prior to him appearing on the show, completely covered up. Nobody was aware of it. 2007, he appeared on the show, and then in 2010, he was sentenced. So obviously, you know, there was a grey area in between 2004 and 2010 where he did appear once. As far as I'm aware, that was the only real kind of 5 minutes of fame that he ever had. He didn't really appear on many other things. He was a former Butlins entertainer. That's all that we really know about him. But he appeared as a guest psychic on Most Haunted. Now, I don't know where his credentials of being a psychic came from. If he's even psychic, I don't have, like, you know, the fondest of thoughts for psychic mediums, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't a psychic. But at the same time, it's absolutely abhorrent, the things that are going on. Now, it's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Now, I've tried to look into this a little bit deeper to try and see, well, you know, obviously these things have come out. He appeared on the show. Some would see that as promoting a PDF file, although they were completely unawares of the situation. But we have seen it in the past when people have appeared on shows and then it comes out that these people aren't the greatest of people. The show will try and, just at least put out a statement being like, yes, we're aware of what's going on. No, we had no idea at the time and we don't condone the actions, all the rest of it. But there are no definitive public records whatsoever that Yvette Fielding, Carl Beattie, the producers of the show, or anyone from the show or their production company have actually come out to acknowledge what has gone on or to even address the situation. Now, does that make them complicit? Absolutely not. So, let's not get this twisted. They are not complicit in any capacity. They don't owe anyone an explanation. It's just something that, companies typically do to kind of, I guess, keep the reputation a little bit intact. But there is no acknowledgement or unawareness of the situation that they have cleared up. There is no public statement that is being put across anywhere. There is no context of the show's controversy. Regardless of what the Martin Smith incident, there's, distinct industry silence, so the lack of direct response may reflect a deliberate choice by the producers to avoid drawing further attention to the issue, given the severity of Smith's case and crimes for potential reputational damage. Unlike Ghostwatch controversy, where the producers issued an apology after the outcry and tragic incident, which was the unfortunate passing of Martin Denham, linked to the show's impact, Most Haunted producers have not reported as engaging with Smith's controversy in any similar capacity. Now, there's a lot of people who would see this as, them being complicit. I don't think that's the case, and I think that's really unfair to say, because how are they to know? Obviously, it's nigh on impossible, even if you did do background checks on this person. If the claims and the accusations didn't come forward until 2010, that's 3 years after the show actually aired. So, I don't think they will ever. I mean, it was over 15 years ago now, and he appeared almost over 18 years ago now. So obviously there's no reason to address it now, but it's just something that no one ever knew about. It was just kind of swept under the rug and kept awfully quiet. No one ever really knew about this. Does it bring Most Haunted into disrepute? I don't think so. Is it a black mark against Most Haunted? Absolutely not, but it's just a little known fact that I didn't know until I saw that video made by Beardo, and it's an interesting talking point. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of the like button and subscribe, and until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.